Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long-range jumper.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Chris Paul bring a dinner with the dish. D-Book on the corner with the swish. We the valley, hating with the dumb. Posterizing, now the crowd getting pumped. We the best, I ain't talking about Cali. Who's next? Never winning in the valley. Can't wait for that championship rally. Send them home, send them back to Cali. Stand up if you're down for the Suns. Put a finger in the air, we number one. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Record.
In 1988, a naive 10-year-old boy wanted to jump on a bandwagon that was the NBA. All of his friends were talking about a TV show on Saturday mornings, especially a little segment called NBA Action. He started watching, hoping to see a team of his own. All his friends followed the Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls. He saw a young rookie by the name of Kevin Johnson in a top 10 play of the week at number 4 pull off a tricky circus shot. He was impressed. KJ was such a little fella, he decided that he would follow that team, the Suns. The next year, his love grew as a big man. Tom Chambers soared above Mark Jackson for a two-handed jam, and things only got better from there. Enter the 1993 season. The Suns were unstoppable. Well, almost unstoppable. An unknown fucking drool hit a three to bury our title chances. It's now 28 years later, and the Phoenix Suns are back. Back in the NBA Finals, back where we belong. Rally the fucking valley. How we going, boys?
You!
That was beautiful, Gav.
What a fucking win.
That was beautiful, man.
Honestly,
you were kind of right.
Yeah. I said today, lots of tears, lots of cheers. There was a hell of a lot of fist pumping going on. There's probably going to be more of that tonight. But overall, just magnificent. Ash, welcome along. What did today's win mean to you?
Mate, thanks for having me back, gents. You guys keep bringing me back after wins, so I'm really enjoying this. I don't have to come and talk about how disappointed I am. What did today mean to me? I put this hat doesn't, might not mean anything to anyone else, but to me, this is a Tennessee Volunteers hat that my lovely aunties from Atlanta, believe it or not, actually sent me. She's the actual reason I'm a Phoenix Suns fan from way back in the day when I was a little fella, probably 8 or 9 years old. And she bought me and my two brothers a jersey each. My brother got a Jordan, my other brother got an O'Neal, and I got a Barkley jersey. And from that day on, I was hooked. And it was just Phoenix Suns. So, that's been, bordering on 30 years now. And the Phoenix Suns mean as much to me as my football team does. I can't put into words. I'm speechless today. Absolutely speechless. And an absolute privilege to share it with you blokes. It's been great.
Oh, we did enjoy the Facebook chat call. It was only me and you, but I'll tell you what, we both had the tears in the eyes and we enjoyed it, mate. It was great.
There were some rubs.
It was good. A little bit of that, and then Ash went, "Oh, I think I've got to go and look after the kids," and hung up. I think it was just about to get turned into a complete blubbering mess, but it was.
AKA tissues.
That's it. All right, Hammo, what about you, mate? What does today mean to you? I saw your picture of you driving the truck. What's it mean to you?
No, kayfabe, I wasn't driving while I was filming, no. Look, to sort of echo Ash's sentiment, obviously got into the basketball and the Suns because of my dad, Jimmy. And he come home this one day, and we've always talked about how hard it is to get Phoenix merch in Australia, and I've still got the jersey to this day. It was the purple Barkley, but it was that much of a knockoff. It doesn't say Barkley, it says Phoenix on the back of it. But it's got number 34. And I've still got it, and the whole streaking sun is worn away. But it's just a constant reminder. He sat me down. He goes, "Check out this guy, Sir Charles." And he's like, Dad was always a Lakers fan, Magic Johnson fan. He showed me everyone. He showed me Kareem. He showed me Magic. He showed me a lot of people, man. But the attraction to the Suns has just always been, I don't know if it's the colours or, like I think Cable said about the name, Phoenix just sounds cool. But I said to my missus maybe 2 years ago that I don't think I would have ever seen this, ever. It's
Special.
Yeah.
Special.
Oh, it's
Amazing,
so
yeah.
special, man. So special.
Absolutely. And of course, everyone's favourite technician who can't get his background right, Cable. What's this mean to you, buddy?
It means a lot. It's there's a lot of emotion with it. There's a lot of thoughts going through my head. It was one of those days where luckily I could watch it from tip off right through. At one point, I was probably about 5 minutes behind because I got stuck. I had to sort of prepare a meal. So I thought, well, there's no harm. It's still early. I can pause the game, not be in the chat, and then catch up at a timeout. And I was really quickly caught up not long after anyway. So, it was one of those days too. I was like so excited. I started watching a bit of ESPN afterwards and all the after stuff, and then had the opportunity to quickly put on the solar panel and listen to their sort of live YouTube sort of stuff. So, yeah, but it was emotional. It was weird because I could see in the chat, a few guys like saying they were crying when the game is well and truly over, but it wasn't till they actually won. And then I saw Chris Paul and that. I wasn't bawling quite like Ash, but I was a bit tearing up. Even my daughter was like looking at me funny, like, "Are you crying?" kind of thing. So, going to the finals.
I had visitors over who did exactly the same. Like I had my mate over who's a builder, had his kids. My missus decided to fucking film me crying. Thanks for that, wife.
I can't wait to see that. I cannot
that
wait
ain't
to
going
see
nowhere.
that.
I've already got hold of her phone and I got rid of it.
We'll find out.
But my daughter found out, so she bolted outside, grabbed everyone from outside. They've all come inside and gone, "What are you crying about?" But I was the same, mate. It was when Chris Paul came off the court. That's when it really, when they took Paul George and everyone off. Yeah. Chris Paul came off and he was just walking around. That was it for me.
It's funny, like, and Gav, you would know this being an AFL fan, that sometimes in grand finals when the game's sort of done and dusted, the coach will try and get the stars to get back on the field so they can actually be on the ground when the game's finished. But it was the opposite for me today. I'm like, when the game was done and dusted, it was cool to, think we could have Chris Paul and that out there. But I kind of was like, well, hang on, there's been so many injuries and bad luck for a lot of teams in this playoffs, including us to a point. It's like, we don't need any more injuries. Get them off. When it was about 3 minutes ago, I'm like, get them off. And then I think, I don't know when the changes came because I know they pulled Paul George and their guys off. And I feel like we still went for another minute before we put Sticks and everyone in. I'm like, that was even, to me, it's too late. I was just so nervous. Like, get these guys in cotton wool and get them off. And
Monty must have known that, man, because Devin Booker put his face mask back on.
Yeah, I think they all came off when George and that came off.
Oh, they did, yeah. Okay.
But I would have liked them to come off when the Pat Beverley shit happened.
Yeah,
because that was straight away where you sort of when I was actually watching that, the Clippers weren't out of the game when he did that dumb shit. So it was sort of then that I knew the Clippers were cooked, I suppose. And I sort of went, you know what? We're not going to lose that much if you take Chris Paul out of the game now. Book, fair enough. But maybe take Chris Paul out of the game. Cameron Payne, he can go in and cover those minutes. They're not going to close down that much. I mean, I wouldn't have put Sticks and Etwan and all these guys in, but I would have taken I would have taken no. We'll talk about that in a minute too. But look, just a phenomenal day. I mean, so emotional, so fantastic. It's for big Phoenix Suns, and people don't understand how much Australians in particular, and for those for our Yankee brothers and sisters that might catch this pod, you don't understand how much Australians buy into sport. We all do it. When we get our teams, we stick fat. We're not jumpers. I do have mates that follow certain players because the whole American thing, but reality is that we're massive supporters, and when we buy in, we buy in. If we love the sport,
I'm glad you brought. I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, over the years, I've had mates that have had. I've still been fans of certain players. Like I've always loved Dirk Nowitzki. I just think what he did in Dallas was fantastic. I've liked other players, and then there's been times when I have gone for Dallas when Marion and Kidd were there. When we were out of it, you want to see them do well as former Suns players and that sort of stuff. But I've always stuck fat. I picked a team, and I feel like this generation they pick and choose. They just go where LeBron goes. Oh, I'm a Lakers fan now. Oh no, I'm with Cavaliers. And there's a lot of kids these days don't stick fat and see it through. And I know it's hard to go for a team like it is hard to go for a small market team, whether it is the Bucks, the Suns, some of those smaller teams that just can't hold onto their good, to hold on to their really good players because they get poached by the big teams, whether it's New York, Chicago, of course the Lakers. Now the Clippers are sort of in that mix because who wouldn't want to live in LA? But I'm sort of proud of the fact that I stuck with my team and saw 10 years hit. And look, before that 10 years, and even to a point, I think during the coverage they said we played 290. We won 290 game sixes or something like that. Most successful side to never have won a championship. And we were for a long time before that. We were the most winningest side without winning a championship. Yep. So, it's, like the emotion, there's a lot of emotion because I think for a long time, even when we were competitive in the Nash years and even in the Barkley years, it was the Western Conference has always been hard. And, you come up against the Lakers, then you come up against Dallas when they're on the up. Houston, we've always been a good side. Back when Sean Kemp and Gary Payton were running around at Seattle, we've always had this really tough competition. I think we just lost Gav. But it's great to sort of finally get there and actually have our opportunity. Yeah, look, it'd be great to
no doubt.
It'd be great to beat the best of the best, but you know what? At the end of the day, whoever it is, Atlanta or the Bucks, if they come in injured, well, bad luck. We just got to not take our foot off the pedal. We're just got to look at the prize that's on offer and want to win it hard. Want to win it the most and get the job done. Going back to actually the point you were talking about that Phoenix jersey you had of Charles Barkley, I've got the same one. I've still got it. Back then, this is a funny thing.
Does it say Barkley or Phoenix?
No, it says Phoenix, but it's not a knockoff.
Oh, wow.
Sporting, I don't know, the first few runs of teams that came out when they did come out, even the Shaq one, the first edition of Shaq actually had Magic on the back as well. I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why. I think there must have been something with licensing. They weren't allowed to put the players' names on it, or maybe there was some sort of players' bargaining agreement. But then in subsequent, I've seen people with the Barkley one, and then obviously my brother had the one that actually had O'Neal on the back, and some of the players had it. But then we also know Barkley's always had a funny kind of career in that he's never been in the video games or a lot of other stuff. So
if you look into why that is, I kind of understand and respect why he's not going to do that. But that's for another pod. But just to continue on what you were saying before the jersey, sorry, mate, about being fans and that, and it's especially in the last probably, let's go 8 years. I'm pretty sure I could be completely wrong with my outstanding memory, but the year before we drafted Devin Booker, did we not draft at number 15 a bloke called Kendall Marshall?
Oh,
Who was supposedly going to save our franchise and this and that, and now I think he's playing for Guangdong Ducks or whatever the hell they are. But like we've been there, like with Book, we've been there, and he has stuck with us as much as we've stuck with PHX and with Book, man. And it's just, it feels like it's ours. Like fans, it still feels like it's ours, and I've never experienced anything like this in my life, man. Never.
I was
It's
going to
just
say, like,
incredible.
take the Chris Paul stuff out of it. But if we go on to win, you couldn't think of a better bloke. No, well, you couldn't think of a better bloke to win in Book in that he stuck fat. He could have easily done the 2 years, 3 years and gone, nah, this place is shit. And it's always been the rumor that he was, oh, no, he's going to New York, he's going here, and he's going to get poached here. And he's stuck fat. And you can look, all these other guys that stuck up. And look, I understand. You don't want to get drafted and feel like you're in a no-win situation where you're the only star player and you're never going to win. But so many players just don't want to work hard. They want to give up and go, oh, well, I'll go play with LeBron in Miami, or I'll go here to win a championship, or I'll just go to Golden State because they're on the up. Like,
Do the easy route.
Booker will be remembered, again, if and hopefully, fingers crossed, we win 4 more games. I think Booker's legacy is even bigger because he worked through the difficulties with a couple of coaches, a lot of spuds that he played with, and just to work hard and go, you know what, I'm going to make sure I'm going to bring a championship here. You know, Rain. You know what? Look, I don't want him to ever leave, but I mean, I'm sort of if we can win 1, hopefully 2, even more. Like if he wants to do something else later in his career and move somewhere else, so be it. But I think I don't know. I just think it's a huge pat on the back for Devin Booker to be.
Depends on where Kendall wants to lay ahead at night.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, look, couldn't agree more. And thanks, I'm back. A bit of internet trouble, but I'm back. I've a lot of narratives I've listened to over the last, especially the last couple of weeks. Number one, you can't win. If the Suns win, it's an empty title because Anthony Davis was injured, Jamal Murray was injured, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fuck? I heard something on a pod today, which was spot on. Best thing I ever heard. The Boston Celtics won in 98, something like that. They've gone and won.
Welcome.
Hello, boy.
Hey, boy,
we're
what's
waiting for
going
his
on, mate?
audio. The Boston Celtics won. Welcome along, Boyd.
Howdy do, boys. What's going on?
There he is.
About 10 minutes late, bro, but welcome.
Winner, chicken dinner. Oi,
Better late than never.
the Roosters are getting pumped. So I'm
Yes.
I'm
No one
fuck it.
cares.
I just
Today's a good day.
Oh, I've got
There we go.
no idea what you're talking about anyway.
Melbourne Storm are smashing the Roosters.
Boyd's, yeah, he's back. The Boston Celtics won when Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, all of those guys were there. They won a chip. They won their first round game against the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. That Atlanta Hawks side was sub 500. Does anybody ever remember the fact that they were pushed by that Atlanta Hawks side? Does anybody remember the fact that they beat the Chicago Bulls in the second round? Nobody remembers this. In 15 years' time, the only thing people are going to remember is the Lakers tried to build a super team. The Nets tried to build a super team. Those two sides were, the Clippers tried to build a super team. Those 3 sides were supposed to be the sides in the finals. The Phoenix Suns did it the right way. That's all people are going to remember in 15 years' time.
And that's, I mean,
so
Grinding, man. Just
so
grinding.
Lakers fans, Clippers fans, alternate fans, whoever wants to fucking mouth off, fuck you. This will be one of the all-time classic victories of any franchise in NBA history when people are talking about it in 10 years' time.
You know what I can't wait to hear? In like a year, if that, what if I told you?
Yeah.
And then a story about the Suns.
well, it's funny that you bring up the whole asterisk thing because I know some people throw that out there in a lot of sports, especially, you know, with COVID in the AFL last year and even the rugby league. People, oh, there's a bit of an asterisk on this because teams had to play in hubs and all that sort of stuff. But technically, I would always say the Lakers last year should have an asterisk, like, for fuck's sake. But no one complains about that. Look, let's be honest. We're not potentially, if we go on to win, we're not playing the best of the best because there have been some sides that unfortunately have had some terrible injuries.
They have.
But
No doubt.
But like you're saying, like the asterisk thing is really interesting because how many people remember the shortened lockout season and there was supposed to be an asterisk next to that? everyone forgets that. I know it was San
Yeah,
Antonio
that's right.
won that
San
year,
Antonio, yeah.
but they went on to prove that they are a good side and Popovich is
Yeah,
a good
that's right.
coach. So you go, and then you could also argue Houston Rockets were a great side when they won back to back. But you go, well, the asterisks with Jordan retiring and not wanting to play and do baseball. I'm like, well, doesn't that? But no one talks about that anymore. It's always just like Houston
they
Rockets
don't.
were the best side, so no one cares about that stuff anymore.
Mate,
And
I've had text
the
messages.
other point.
Sorry,
The other
Gav, go ahead.
point. No, you're right. Sorry, mate. The other point I had there is the Lakers are saying, well, Anthony Davis was injured. That's your fucking fault for recruiting a bloke who's injured all the time.
Yep.
Kyrie Irving was injured for the Nets. Your fault. The bloke never plays. Sometimes he falls off the end of his flat earth. Jamal Murray, fair enough, but the Nuggets are no
That's
super team.
unfortunate, yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is always fucking injured. Guess what?
In
The
clutch,
Phoenix Suns recruited Chris Paul. That was always a risk. Everybody seems to be forgetting that Chris Paul played 2 games where he couldn't dribble, missed 2 games from COVID.
Rona, yeah.
Played and scored 41 points with a wrist injury that he's had MRI'd. Look,
Only yesterday.
everybody, the point of the season and the reason the NBA season goes so long is it is a war of attrition. If you can't keep your players fit, that's your problem. Now, before we move on.
Oh, man, you're talking to my soul.
I love it, boy.
My views, 100%. And wasn't it just LeBron James last season that said that, yeah, this does have his championship did have an asterisk next to it. It was the hardest one because of all the COVID shit and
That's right.
and all that shit going on. So man, we've just won a really hard one. Oh, we just
That's
won.
right.
Shit, we're about to win a big hard one.
That's right. So before we do move on, though, now that you're on board, first thing we did was spoke about what it meant to us to be in the NBA Finals again. We want to give you the crack to do that too.
Well, bro, man, it's been so long, and then just man, well, I became a fan in '92, and I saw a lot of people throwing up their stories about how they became a fan and how long they've been a fan for. But
I love that, Aussie Suns fans. Well done.
Yeah. We should keep that going because it's always good to hear a bit about someone's coming into the Phoenix Suns world. So so mine was back in '92, and honestly, it was for Barkley. It was the '92 Olympics, was it?
Dream team, Barcelona.
Shane Hill and Barkley going at it.
Yep.
And I think Barkley won MVP that year. But yeah, that sort of got me into the NBA that year, and I was just sold on it, man. And then we took on Jordan and the Bulls, and everyone loved Jordan because he made the sport global. And it was just from that point on, I was just a young fella. But then there was some tough years after he left, of course, and moving into the Nash era. So and it was always we were never good enough on the defensive end, right? To get over the line, to get through the playoffs, right? So, but then then 10 years of just of fucking 11 years of nothing, and man, it was oh man, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, but fuck, we've come a long way, man. It's been a lot of years. It means a lot.
Actually, Boyd brings up a good point. For a long time there, the one weakness I think we always had, no matter how good we were, we never had a decent centre. And now we've got DA, and he's just lit it up. And that's what the difference is. I mean, I remember Barkley would kept asking, he goes, get me a centre to play with, someone, get me someone decent, or I'm going to walk.
Playing with Cedric Sabalas.
Or Oliver.
I think Chuck had Mark West, who was a solid centre.
Yeah,
but nothing spectacular. All right, we'll go in and we'll touch on DA and everybody else in a second. But has everyone got a beer?
No, I don't.
Dry July.
Bear with me.
All right.
Get off. Jesus.
All right, I'm going.
Come on, Ash, get a drink, get a Coke or something.
I was going for a
one
Twitter
minute.
video.
I'll go and get a drink.
And Cable, that almost looks like a beer, Cable. So you can run with that. But I think that we have to do, if there's ever a chance for us to run a Twitter with Aussie Suns fans Twitter handle, at Aussie Suns fans, for those of you who are out there, we need to do a chugging with the fellas.
Oh, 100%.
And we have to get it out there because right now we are all sitting here. Well, look, I can only do half a beer, but we are all sitting here. We are with the fellas. So, fellas, I'm gonna film this on my phone as well. We're gonna do a chugging with the fellas for our Aussie Suns fan Twitter handle. Get it on. Let's go.
That was good. Shameless plug. Dayton's beers.
Love your work, boys. Had to do a chugging with the fellas. All right, let's get on to it. Game. I'm gonna set the tone here before I start throwing it around to you four gentlemen. Number one, Chris fucking Paul. Number two, Devin fucking Armani Booker. Number three, DeAndre motherfucking Ayton. Number four, Tory fucking Animal Craig. Number five, Jay fucking 3-point Crowder.
Showed up.
What a fucking effort. Boy, give me something on what your thoughts were on today's game.
I love the fact that even us Aussie Suns fans who are positive as fuck, right? So we fucking, how many times have we dropped the ball on Crowder and he's just stuffed it right back in our face? And he's just fucking he's gone fucking 1 from 7, 1 from fucking 2 from 9, and now he's 6 from 7 and fucking 70%, I think, at once, like at half time, 70% from 3.
5 from 7. He was fucking.
He makes us all look stupid, and he fucking and he fucks all our multis. But it's beautiful, man. That's what I love about that guy. Oh yeah, the one thing that we were right on. It took a little while for you to come around, Gav, but the Abdel Nader shit. Torrey Craig got the better of the minutes side of things over Nader, I think, today, and it paid off.
Yeah. Hey, well, Tory played 31 minutes, and I listened to a pod where they were talking about the fact that Tory probably wouldn't have got those minutes if Cam Johnson wasn't out. But Tory fucking Craig destroyed Paul George. That was a lock.
That's and you know, I think you posted up at one point there. He had fucking 1 rebound and 0
points. Yeah, 0.0 assists, 1 rebound.
He was he was an integral part of that lead that we had at that point. And you remember them games with you see PJ Tucker's lines with the Suns, and he had shit numbers, but he was a glue guy. He was an energy guy, and he locked people down, and that's what we needed. That's what we needed. I mean, we had Paul George in the previous game hitting a 40-point game and absolutely annihilating us, and we needed someone, a tough body, to get in there, get in front of him, and just throw him off his game, and he did it. And the other chumps couldn't beat us. So, man, Abdel Nader, okay, he's he's a fast, wingy type guy. He can switch, all that sort of stuff. That's all right. He's just not that physical presence that Torrey Craig is, and man, we needed him. Boy, we were all right when we fucking got him. We got him in there, and I think Monty must be listening to us because we were big on getting Torrey back in, and he came in and he did a job.
I gave Monty on the daily, and he definitely.
Yeah, I gave him a fair old fucking spray yesterday. I called him flog of the day.
Yes.
But reality is that Torrey was a bigger, stronger body, stayed in front of Paul George. That was, and if it wasn't for Chris Paul scoring 41 points and having 8 assists and fuck all turnovers, Torrey Craig was our best player. And it was the most impactful 3.8 rebound game you'll ever see in your life.
Well, here's another thing, and
Damn good
on
call.
top of, and just to double down, and Chris Paul, his numbers said it all. But between Paul and Booker, that game that we lost last game, they struggled to get to that second option. They worked out our plan A, and our plan B just wasn't happening. The play was breaking down, and these guys did a really good job as to, when we did get cut down, they kept it going, and they got it to the guys, the role guys to keep it going for us. So I think that's a big testament to Monty as well. He would have had to really have, gotten in their ears and told them, you got to keep the play going after your first attempt fails. So I think he got a bit of a bad rap, Monty, by you, Gav, but I think he came back and he done it right this game.
He gave me a big fuck you. What are your thoughts, bud?
Very much similar to Boyd's. I think Torrey Craig's probably going to finish this game as probably our most important player. I think it was a very clear directive that he was going to go to PG, obviously, from the start. And what a game he played. CP3, what can you say? That I think the commentators after the game were saying this was his greatest game ever. Not his best game, but his greatest game he's ever played from someone that's been and done what he's done. He done that on the Phoenix Suns, Game 6, and took us to the finals. It was another pretty clinical effort today. I think we, like Boyd said, Monty out-coached Ty convincingly. What else? I think when Jay started hitting those threes at the start of the game, my nerves just settled because I've been calling him out all series and he's been really poor. And for him to come out today and he started hitting those threes, I just felt like we were going to win today, and we didn't look back. They challenged us a couple of times and we just kept pulling away. It was like games 1 and 2. We just had to answer for everything they threw at us. And it was a real pleasure to just walk away in the end and see Sticks throw down a dunk at the end. Bring that on.
Well, I did enjoy that fact. And Cabes, I called it. I said Jay would be Game 6 Jay Crowder.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. And look, I was hoping you were right. I just think he's been definitely, like Ash just said, really disappointing for this series. And when you're going to have games and with ebbs and flows and games where Chris Paul's down and obviously missed the first 2 and Book can't get in it, you need Bridges, you need Crowder, those guys to step up and be involved and hit the scoreboard. And they just weren't doing that consistently enough. And really, apart from one game, I mean, it was all on DA really being consistent. When I it's funny that Ash said about Crowder hitting the shots. When he hit those couple, I thought, oh, geez, this is good. This is a good sign. Got off to a good start. But then when Cousins hit those 2 threes, there was one where Crowder just didn't even go to him. Like, he kind of looked and then he goes, fuck it, I'm not going to go to him. I'm going to not. I don't know why he chose not to at least get a hand in his face a bit. And then the shot went down. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then it was when Saric hit back-to-back threes pretty much. I go, hang on. We ain't going to lose this game.
Super Dario!
But I mean, it was just to me, I mean, I know there's a lot of pieces and there was a lot of game to go, but you go, hang on. If Dario's going to hit 2 big threes, we're kind of on. If we look, things are falling into place. So that's what
the way the fouls have been called on Crowder lately, though, he was probably a little bit too scared because, like we talked in the last pod, he's one tech away from having to sit out a game. So, he might have just been a little bit too scared.
Yeah, look, that's probably true too. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's I thought I was really worried Jay cop another tech for the trip on Batum.
Oh yeah,
I was really worried. I didn't think it was a flagrant, but I thought he might have got the DeMarcus Cousins treatment with the tech with the elbow that he threw. And he was very, very lucky because I think he's 2 techs away still from a suspension. But if he had a cop one today, Jesus,
pretty sure he's
the only one. Well, he should have gone and fucking got himself suspended the last game or something. But look, end of the day, Hammo, give us yours. Give us what you got on the game.
Oh, look, still fairly numb, so to speak. Just incredible. You guys mentioned Torrey Craig. I thought he was very pivotal for what we did. The main takeaway I have is I think it was about 5 odd minutes left in the third, and we're up by 17. And I'm just sitting there in the truck, listening to it, and it's like, hang on a second, we might actually do this today. You know what I mean? And yeah, it still doesn't seem real. I'm sorry, just still doesn't seem real. I think everyone bowled out. Chris Paul obviously is just insane. The emotion that he had afterwards, the stoicness of Monty Williams during all the press conferences and that, it just looks like he just went to church. He doesn't give a shit. You know, he's just no emotion. You know what I mean? Like a little bit happy, but not like crazy emotion like the rest of the guys. But yeah, I mean, it was beautiful, man. It was absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait for us to take the next team in either, dare I say, 4, maybe 5.
So, from my perspective, DeAndre Ayton was massive in this game, especially early when we'd struggled so much on offense in the first couple of games or the last couple of games. He really just tied it all together. And I actually put a comment on the chat group today, about halfway through the first quarter, that he was having such an impact that the Clippers defense was going to start to collapse in the paint. And it's exactly how it played out. And all of a sudden, with them collapsing in the paint, all of a sudden Jay Crowder was on the outside. He had those opportunities. He had those shots. Chris Paul hit 2 threes in the first quarter. All of a sudden, we were ticking those scores over. We really exposed – what I really loved was we exposed the zone early in the first quarter, and they had to switch out of it. We'd struggled against the zone for probably the last 2 games, but we picked it apart early, and we went up 15-7 or 15-5 or whatever it was early. They switched back to a man-on-man, game tied up, but that's when Ayton really became a presence inside and just put the game on our terms and the tempo on our terms. From the first quarter, we could see that we were just willing to push the ball. That was massive for us. I think that the last couple of games, we've really struggled to get any tempo or any of the game on our terms, and we managed to do that really early. And I think the trigger for that was when Campaign came back in, or came into the game for the first time. We were pushing the ball with Chris Paul on the floor, but as soon as Campaign come in, unbelievably, we just spread the floor and we were moving the ball really, really quickly. Overall, Jay, fantastic. Torrey Craig, we've already mentioned it. His defensive effort on Paul George was just phenomenal.
Should have been on him the whole series.
Yeah, he should have. Thank fuck Monty listened to us and didn't give those minutes to Nader. The DeAndre Ayton was huge. Devin Booker was just Devin Booker, really. But Chris Paul, my fucking God. That last half performance was a man that was never, ever going to lose that game. He was phenomenal. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I might have some lag.
I thought you were going to say something there. Yeah.
No, I just said, yeah, he had 31 points in that second half.
Yeah,
unreal.
And the best part was Patrick Beverley goes out, gives him the shove in the back like a fucking complete nutter tool. Why? Because Chris Paul looked at him. You showed your true colours there, Pat Beverley, you fucking disgrace.
I'd really like to know what CP said to him, man, because someone threw it up on...
No, I don't think he said anything.
Saying,
apparently, he didn't say anything. Apparently, all he did was gave him a look.
Well, someone someone said something that was like, enjoy Cancun or something like that. But yeah, Patrick Beverley.
Well, we're not running with Flog this way, Flog of the day, because it's a fucking
have
lay
to.
down with. It's a
Don't
lay
have
down
to.
with there.
And this
Patrick
is why you need to
Beverley is a
watch our
complete and utter
YouTube
flog.
podcast, guys, instead of just our Spotify or iTunes, because you get see little things like this that make a big difference.
Reality is fantastic. Really enjoyed it. We move on. Fantastic to win the Western Conference Championship. We get another banner hanging in the rafters out at Phoenix Suns Arena, but there's only one banner that I want hanging in Phoenix Suns Arena. And Ash, who do you reckon we're going to play for that banner?
I think Atlanta. I think they've probably been the better team. They actually surprised me just how good they are. I think the only thing that might go against them is their lack of experience in regards to that sort of stuff. But they're young, they're hungry, they're just like us. Just with not quite the same sort of veteran leadership, but they're dangerous, very dangerous. I think we match up better against Milwaukee. I'd probably prefer to play in Milwaukee.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think. But I think we're going to be playing Atlanta only because of the Giannis injury. So let's cross our fingers that he's going to be okay to play again. That'd be a shame to see him miss the rest of the series.
All right, Capes, who do you reckon we're playing?
I think they've already said Giannis is out. So, I was the
For
same.
the series or just the series or just
I think he's gone
game?
for the year. I think he's gone. I
he's gone
thought they
completely.
said that he's gone. So, but I mean, I could be wrong. That could be the misinformation. But Giannis is such a good player. It's so dangerous that there's definitely a threat there. But if he was to play, but like I said, I think we matched up well against them all year. Didn't we? Did we sweep them or we?
Yep.
At least won the
Again,
2
2
games?
years in a row, I think.
2 years in a row.
2 years running, yeah.
So I think that there wouldn't have been any issues there with us, taking them on. I think Atlanta, again, on paper, we should beat. But similar to the Clippers, I think there's something very unpredictable about the Hawks that I think could give us a bit of trouble. Like you want a predictable side to play against. And I think the Hawks are a bit of everything. So, and they've got nothing to lose as well. They're very much like us. They haven't really played playoffs for a while, or, Trae Young and those guys haven't really played before. So, it's two young teams knocking heads. And, I don't know. I'd rather the Bucks. I feel like the way things are going now, it'd probably be the Hawks that will be playing.
Boyd?
Mate, I think we're going to play the Bucks, but I would prefer to play the Hawks. And here's what I'm scared of Middleton. I think he's fucking unreal. That guy can just get hot. And Drew Holiday, man, he's a backcourt guy. He's a lockdown defender, and I don't really want to see our backcourt have any Pat Beverley bloody flashbacks. I'd prefer, I said it in the chat a little while ago, is I'd prefer to see some pick and roll on yours truly, fucking Trae Young, because man, that guy's a sieve. He's an absolute sieve on defense, and I think we can really make him pay. And John Collins is the fucking flog. He's a cancer, and fuck John Collins. But yeah, no, look. Worst. Look, I'd prefer to play the Hawks. I don't think we will. He's got Trae Young also has that bone bruise on his hip, so he's going to be a bit shabby. He's not going to be at 100%. But then again, so if Giannis does come back, he'll lose a step. He's not going to be the same after that knee injury. So, but yeah, I just think I think the Bucks have a little bit more to worry about. But yeah, Bucks in 7.
Fair call. Hammo, what do you think?
Who gives a fuck, man? We got this. Who gives a flying fuck? We've taken out the Lakers, right? We swept the Nuggets. We took out the Clippers, despite what everyone wants to say. I had some dickheads message me today about, it wouldn't have been so good if Kawhi was there, or, you've still got to win 4 more. Fuck you all. You know what you are? Absolute flogs. All right? Seriously.
I love it.
Don't give a fuck how we face, mate. We got this.
I honestly think the rest of this matchup is a coin toss. That's because I chugged with the fellas.
Or a coin toss. Doesn't matter.
Coin toss. I honestly do believe that either side can win this now, particularly if Giannis is out. But reality is, I'm kind of with Ian. I think we can beat either side. I'm not fussed either way which one we play. I think spot on with Boyd, what Boyd said, their guard rotation with Trey and Bogdan, that's a lot of points right there. If we can get past that first line, which will be fairly easy because neither of them are great defenders, Chris Paul and Devin Booker at the elbow will do a hell of a lot of damage. I think from a guard defensive perspective, the Bucks are better. And then obviously you have to try and contain Giannis. So if he does play, but look, I'm going to take the Boyd and the Hammo and mix it together and say, who gives a fuck who we play? We're in the NBA Finals again, and we're not playing Michael Jordan and John Paxson. So
we're in the fucking finals, guys. For
and this side, and I went on a bit of a spiel on the pod yesterday. This side finds ways to win. We may drop 1, we may drop 2, but we find ways to win. So look, I'm really, really excited. I put my leave in. There's going to be some fucking messy days. There's no doubt about it. We've already put up a post about the first catch-up for Game 1 and had a good response for Melbourneites. So really looking forward to that. Everyone in Melbourne, if you're watching the pod, once the Game 1's confirmed, try and get the day off, come out. Let's all catch up together, have a few beers at a sporting globe, probably at this stage, most likely Richmond, and fucking run a mark with the Suns going up 1-0 in the first one. Apart from that, boys, fucking wrapped you guys could join me. Apart from Ash, the rest of you were too weak to jump on the fucking Facebook chat when we were up and about. But love to having you guys on, especially with this. This is momentous. 28 years since we've been in the finals. Fucking long time. I've got the 93 jersey on. I think Cabes has got the 93 jersey on. We got the Valley jersey. We got the Phoenix jersey. We got Boyd with his Valley gear on. Guys, let's get excited. Let's enjoy it. We're rolling in. And most importantly, fucking cheers to the Phoenix Suns. We're going to the finals, boys.
Going to the fucking finals, man.
You.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open 3.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range jumper.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Chris Paul bring a dinner with the dish. D-Book on the corner with the swish. We the Valley, hating with the dumb. Posterizing, now the crowd getting pumped. We the best, I ain't talking about Cali. Who's next? Never winning in the Valley. Can't wait for that championship rally. Send them home, send them back to Cali. Stand up if you're down for the Suns. Put a finger in the air, we number 1. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship reign. We the valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.